What I'm about to tell you will most likely piss you off. So before you get upset and write an angry comment, watch the whole thing to the end. And if you still think I'm wrong, then write down your thoughts and go make your own video about it. Just kidding. Leave a comment and I'll reply. Also, if you've already made up your mind about the topic of full stack, then this video is probably not meant for you. I make this for people who are deciding what kind of programming they should get into and whether or not they should consider full stack development. Here we go. Full stack developers don't exist. Well, I think a better, more accurate title would be great full stack developers don't exist. Every time I hear full stack, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking you're not full stack. You're full of shit. I'm full stack. Yeah? Would you go to a full stack doctor or a surgeon? Oh, there's this guy who does all sorts of surgeries. Oh, don't worry, he does everything. Yeah. How about a full stack lawyer? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's funny. Let's look back at the history of where full stack even comes from. Around early 2000 to mid 2000, building software was really, really expensive and complicated. You needed a ton of people to even manage a website. This is where all the nerdy programmer stereotypes come from. This guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Yeah, that era. So each technology layer was forced to innovate and introduce new simplified languages like PHP and Ruby came out, or like frameworks like jQuery and Backbone for JavaScript. AWS came out, I think, around like 2005 or 6. So Web 2.0 was built on a different mindset, simpler technologies. This is where coding started to become kind of hip and cool. Well, kind of. Still pretty nerdy. So with all these innovations and building new ways of building software, especially on the web, that meant that one developer can now do multiple things. There were a few short years where the user expectations were low enough and the technologies were simple enough that a developer could wear multiple hats. So the full stack developer was born. Congratulations, nice to meet you, full stack developer. Enjoy it while it lasts. For example, when Node first came out, right? Classic full stack story. That meant JavaScript developers could write backend code for the first time. Obviously an awesome thing. The intention was great. Why depend on another team or even another person, a backend guy, just so you can get a server-side endpoint that serves you some data, right? Well, that sounds great. Kind of even revolutionary. I can do that by myself. I know JavaScript, end of story. Hold on, I'm thirsty. So needy. Fast forward to today, and the first problem you have is that the stack itself has grown immensely. You don't just have front end and back end and database anymore. There's machine learning, data analytics, mobile versus web, deployment and release management. There's a lot more now. Second problem is that the quality of software has gone up. I mean, the standards are higher. A perfect user experience is not a luxury anymore. It is expected. Thanks in part to these guys and also all the creative kids who contributed to making the web more pretty and functional. Thank you guys. So the next problem is that each layer of full stack, even the traditional ones, front end, back end, database, has become consistently more and more specialized and detailed, aka more complicated, not to mention ever changing. Within each layer, you have incredibly granular and deep specialty areas. Say front end, for example. You have logical programming with JavaScript, what some people consider to be the core of front end, plus all the frameworks like Angular and React and Vue, everything else JavaScript, right? That alone is huge. Then you have UI and UX engineering, prototyping, CSS architecture, design and animation, anything and everything related to aesthetics that arguably a lot of JavaScript developers are just not really great at. Hey, JavaScript guy, that's cool. You're still super awesome and obviously employable, so relax. Then you have tooling, your package management, bundling software, how to design your code structure for better integration with CI/CD tools like Jenkins, etc. Everything infrastructure related. This just wasn't a thing back in 2006, guys. How about your testing strategy? Unit tests, integration tests, end-to-end tests. Recently, I learned about contract tests, massively important impossible to nail with just you in the room. On top of it all, you have your front-end architecture design. All your code is built on top of the architecture, a role that kind of brings all of it together and orchestrates everything. I'm actually being a little conservative here. You can honestly get even more specialized within each of these layers I mentioned. And that's only the front end, let alone all the frameworks out there and all the changes with every different release. I'm looking at you, Angular 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. What happened, guys? There was so much promise. Now, let me ask you this. Do you know one person who's great at all of the above? And that's just front end. Back end is an entirely different beast with a different set of problems that are completely different in nature. So many different programming paradigms and languages and frameworks. It takes time to study them and go practice them in real life, in real projects. Just keeping up with the frameworks alone is a full-time job. And you know what? Maybe that's not the point of Fullstack. Maybe the point is that a little startup that can't afford to pay several devs can pay one dude to do multiple things. Fine, I understand that. I get that. But you can't deny that with that type of approach, you will lower the quality of each layer. And that should not be any programmer's goal or something to be proud of. Okay, so what's the bigger point here? After all the fixation on the problem, what is my point, right? My point is that specialization is good. We should learn that from the Industrial Revolution, that specialization is good and necessary and rewarding, and that one person doesn't need to do everything, including grow their own food like most humans did at that one point. We need experts in every field. Just like you wouldn't hire a random house guy to build a house for you and everything in it, you need carpenters and plumbers, electricians and painters, and so many different experts if you want to build a house that has quality and standards. Yes, of course, it's good to know about different parts of a system. Of course, it's a good thing to be well-rounded. In fact, I'm gonna contradict myself for a second here and say that you should spend time and learn about different technologies. Don't use this as an excuse to get lazy, but you're not going to be an expert in everything because you don't need to. That's the funny part. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to be a full stack developer to be hired or even to get paid a lot of money and be successful. Don't worry about all the stacks. If you like doing multiple things, do it, but know why you're doing it. Not because you found a good deal on a bullshit full stack course at some boot camp. My point is simple, that we all need to do more of what we like. And that means not wasting time on that doesn't interest us, and instead focus on things that we enjoy and are actually good at, as opposed to doing everything kind of all right. Do fewer things, but do them better. Full stack. Peace.